for some ladies, if you're watching or listening, I would liken this to what's been described to me about women on birth control pills, right? That's a hormone blocker, essentially.
That's a steroid for all the men
out
there. The one that everybody's saying natural.
Yeah.
Like if your girl is taking fucking pills all the time, that's like a derivative of a type of steroid. That's what's blocking her from getting fucking pregnant. Yeah. So your chick's on steroids.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you enjoy nutting in her, just remember she's on the juice too. Okay. So don't judge us. It's my testosterone. It's intramuscular, so I absorb it a little better than the cream.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I take a lot more than you. I think in 225. I already played with the doses. 225 is the dose. Dude, I gained I think I gained like 3 or 4 pounds of muscle already. I'm a lot bigger, bro. It's great.
Well, on that note, welcome to the Warhammer. Let's talk about testosterone and Warhammer. Those go hand in hand.
Oh yeah, dude. There's a huge portion of people who don't like in the Jiu-Jitsu community, even though it's like rife for PEDs, that they are like so against any sort of anything like that, even if it's like medically needed.
On that note, welcome to the Oldhammer Podcast, where life meets the mat. My name is Sam. That was your general precursor. Thanks for coming in. I'm always here with Gordon, and today we're talking hormones because
we're on them.
Because we're on them, and because it's an ever increasing topic that I think everybody wants to talk about. And like you said just before the intro there, there's a split in the community. And I am, as an older athlete, I am in favor of getting your blood work done. And if you need to be on TRT, fucking do it. Like, if you have low T levels, and we're going to talk about the range. You were going to talk about the ranges, which I think is a good place to open up. It will change your life. It will make your life better. And we can bitch about the Canadian medical system all we want, but for me personally, thank God that my insurance covers some of this shit because it gets expensive. But let's talk about T levels, and hormone usage, because I think it's an ever-growing topic, and some people are adamantly against its use, and some people are like, well, you should just do it. And then there's obviously the third group who are like, put everything in your body at once and see what happens, which I don't know about that.
We're not that group.
We're not that group. So,
but no judgment. Like, if you do that, I train with people like that, and they're super strong.
Bit of T, a little bit of Anaphar, a little bit of maybe not Tren, but like a little Macedon. You're taking a diuretic and you got some HGH in you. That's your business, not mine.
Yeah.
But
it's your health, not mine, for
exactly.
Sure. But I don't judge. Like, if they're on it, it's like, I know some people they make excuses and be like, that guy is good at jiu-jitsu, but he was on a ton of gear, so that's why I lost him. No, you lost him because you suck. That's that's how it is.
Skill
that's
and
it.
Skills
pays the bill.
Yeah, skills pays the bills, and just because you're on a whole bunch of gear doesn't mean you're gonna actually be skilled, right?
It certainly helps.
It makes,
but it doesn't help in the way. It doesn't help in the way that people think it is, because, like, I know, some people, they already know how anabolics work, but the whole when you take like anabolic means muscle building, opposite of catabolic, which is muscle destroying, right? So, in order for you to reap the benefits of testosterone, like what we're on, you have to go and break your muscle. And how you do that? You go to the gym, you lift weights, you do jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever it is. And then you heal from it. Like, your natural testosterone is anabolic. That is a steroid in itself. We're taking a synthetic version of it. And
to
we don't produce them.
What we already have.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But
to replace, like for your case, you were like clinically low. It was like messing you up. Single digits in the total testosterone was like geriatric level.
Yeah, I was basically an 86-year-old man. It was not only unhealthy, it was actually kind of dangerous because so we can talk about high T and low T, but let's talk about low T for a second because that was my case. What does low T come with? It comes with depression, anxiety, mood swings, so you can go from both of those straight into rage, and then immediately cry after. So you have all these mental effects: lack of concentration, trouble sleeping, brain fog, horrible brain fog, right? So you have all of that if your hormones are out of whack. But physically, you also have higher risk of heart disease, higher risk of kidney disease, higher risk of prostate cancer, testicular cancer. So you have physical ailments that come along with it, and those are the serious ones. The most likely thing, though, is muscle degradation. Now, if you want to talk about muscle is essentially your armor, right? Of your body. So the more muscle you have on, to a degree, the more your body is able to help defend you against damage, whatever that damage might be, right? With low testosterone, say you're doing jiu-jitsu and you're weightlifting like I was, well, your body is not healing at the same rate you're inflicting damage. So all those things that you're doing that are supposed to be good for you can actually start hurting you over the long run. So as an older athlete, we call ourselves older athletes. I just call myself an older man who does athletic stuff. Yeah. It can be a big problem as you get older because you're already predisposed to not being able to do what you used to be able to do. Your joints, your bones, your energy levels, all that. And then on top of that, if you're in my situation, you're still pushing it with weightlifting, you're still pushing it with jiu-jitsu, and for some reason you can't sleep, and then your body's not healing, and it's just right for something to really go wrong. So I was lucky I caught it in time because all of the mental issues started coming to play, and I'm like, why am I like this? This makes no sense.
And you weren't like that before, right? And as far as I know, you don't really have a family history of anything like that, right? So like you're directly like your mom and dad, right?
Yeah. Our family history medically is mostly just heart disease, some cancer.
Yeah.
But
not the mental health stuff.
Mental health, no. There's no history of mental health issues.
Yeah, depression.
Other than general anger, but we're Nordic, so that just goes with the territory.
So those are all the cons of having low testosterone, and there are no pros.
There's no pros.
Absolutely zero.
Yeah. There's nothing good about your hormones being out of whack that badly.
Sure.
With high testosterone, if you're way over the norm, there are some health risks, especially heart disease can increase. You can also increase a couple metabolic diseases, but you have to have really high unnatural test.
Yeah, I think if you're abusing a multiple substances and they're all fairly high, basically a concoction of steroids, then we're not talking about the same thing. We're talking about replacing or slightly optimizing. We're not talking bodybuilding doses here. Nobody's taking fucking 600 milligrams of testosterone a week here. Talking the range of regular TRT is probably 100 milligrams a week up to depending on how your androgen receptors are. So if you abuse steroids back in the day and your androgen receptors are just fried, you might need 300 to get the same benefit as someone who gets 150 a week. It's just fried. Your androgen receptors just won't take it in anymore. So you got to be on the higher end of that. Well, now whether if you get prescribed that's a totally
that's between you and your doctor.
Yeah, between you and your doctor. And by the way, obviously, disclaimer: we're not medical experts. Just two guys
No,
who
we're
are on
we're
restaurant.
we're the more plates, more dates side of
No,
this.
we're not even close to that.
Not even close. I just meant like
We're close to that.
on the medical scale of things, we're on the more plates, more date side. I.e., we are not doctors. We are not. We are not medical professionals. We are not researchers or scientists. We are.
No, we don't have anywhere near the knowledge that Derek has. But like,
no, not even close. But I just meant like there's two camps here. There's the people who have learned about it themselves, either through experimentation, research, or consulting medical professionals, and then there are the actual medical professionals. And if you are to undertake this at any level, personally, I'd say don't do it before 25, but that's your own damn problem. But also talk to your medical professional about the risks.
And you know, I think that too. And you're not gonna, even though getting family doctor in Canada is extremely
I don't have one
hard.
anymore.
Yeah, there you go. I'm lucky I got one, and she's like only a few years older than me, and God, I hope she taking this for
my longtime GP is moving to a different style of medicine, so I lost him, and the people who took over his clinic didn't have room for everybody, and so I got put on the wait list. And then my wife's GP formed his own practice, but then also was like, well, I don't know if I can take him because I got a full roster, and I'm like, well, fuck. So yeah, I'm going to.
You guys did just take in your kids. Your kid has.
My daughter was already in with him, so at least she has a GP. But
that's
I
good.
have to go to a. Now I'm stuck with going to a clinic that I already had a pre-existing file in, but it's a rotating doctor service, so I always have to now explain what's going on.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
So for now.
So yeah, it's good. It's good having a GP, and obviously better if your GP is like more modern in their research and not. Because my GP, she doesn't judge. When I told her I was gonna go on testosterone, she's like, okay. She did her due diligence, told me the pros and cons, and it's like whatever decision you make, man. Like every 4 months, I'll order some blood work, and we'll just keep everything, like up to date. She's really good at it. So
yeah, see, my only worry about having my rotating doctor now is if they see a blood work where my testosterone isn't below that minimum level, which, as long as I'm taking the gel, it shouldn't be. Even if I don't take it, you're not supposed to take it. Obviously, the morning of the blood test, and you take your T levels first thing in the morning. For those who don't know, that's when you do your blood work. My worries are going to be like, well, you shouldn't be on this anymore. I'm like, no. No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't have that issue, so I don't go through a doctor. So.
Yeah. Well, I want mine covered by insurance, so.
Hey man, it's cheaper than protein. That's what I'm gonna say.
Fair enough.
Cheaper than protein. It's like half the price. Or no, about the same.
About the same.
Depends how much you take. It depends how much you take. But that's neither here nor
there. That's beside the point.
That's beside the point. We're talking about the decks.
If you're doing 900 a week, well, might get pricey.
I mean, yeah, it would get pretty pricey. But yeah, anyways, we're going off topic here. But today we're just going to talk about our experience, and we might throw in some somewhat valid scientific facts of the benefits of testosterone along in this discussion. Yeah. And like you already mentioned, like how you were feeling when your test was low, but when you finally got on it, when you were prescribed it, and you're on the gel, right?
Yeah.
And then like how do you feel, and what changes and what benefits did you notice immediately, and some of the more long-term ones after?
So I mean, immediately starting treatment, within about a week, the brain fog started to lift, as well as the emotional instability. I didn't have one of the they say common side effects is you can have like aggression, but I didn't feel any of that. one of the things
I don't believe
is
that's
if you're
true.
taking a normal dose, I feel like that might be a side effect if you're highly receptive, and you might overload. But like at the dose that we're taking, it's not really a big risk. So I didn't feel much of that. I felt I started to sleep better. That's also when I started to figure out my sleep apnea issue. One of the things is I did start to recover better from my workouts. So prior to starting treatment, I would do a workout, and if I did 3 or 4 in a row, like days, not even 2 a days, just in different body parts, right? And say what rolled, like the day after, like day 3, I would be so exhausted and so absolutely frazzled and so sore from stuff that I really shouldn't have been, like stuff I'd done for years at a level that wasn't really pushing it. I'd be so sore and so tired that I just like have to take two maybe 3 days off, right, to let my body recover. So that stopped. I was able to go more consistently. The exhaustion kind of subsided a little bit. I had a 2-year-old when I started this stuff, so I mean you're going to be tired anyways. But the thing is, there's a difference between, for me, being tired and being absolutely exhausted. Like I cannot get off the couch. I can't get out of the bed, right? Or what was happening to me before was literally I'd have to take a nap at some point, maybe two naps during a day, right? Because I was so tired and I couldn't think straight. Coffee wasn't doing anything. And I don't take energy drinks because family has a history of heart conditions. Don't want to mess with that. So all that went away. Now every once in a while I'm just old. If I want to have a 30-minute nap because nothing's going on, that's fine, right? Or I didn't sleep well for whatever reason. That's just, as you get older, that might happen. But like I would fall asleep before, even with my sleep apnea stuff going on. I would just fall asleep. Like I'd be sitting at my desk and just like nod off.
Like just pass out.
Basically, like you know that for anybody who's done pulled all-nighters at school or whatever, and you kind of do that thing where you're like trying to, and then you just sort of head hit the desk.
I know that. I work night shift.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. I would do that, but I had slept 8 hours the night before. Right? So
that's not the way it's supposed to be if you like sleep that much.
Yeah, so all of that stuff went away. I started to feel happier. I mean, I started to feel generally happier. I was more capable of dealing with stressors that came my way. Within reason. You always get overloaded at some point and you'll lose your shit. It's just what happens.
But not as frequently and not as intense, right?
Yeah. Also, I started to enjoy things that I had enjoyed before, right? So what I mentioned earlier before is like you get a bit of depression when you have low T. One of the consequences of depression is the things that you liked before you don't like doing or care to do now, right? I started to be able to enjoy the things I actually did like to enjoy. One, because I wasn't so tired and I could actually do them. Then it became a time management thing. Did I get put on a little bit of muscle? No, but I did lose a little bit of fat.
That's a benefit.
Yeah. So like I didn't get noticeably stronger. Like maybe if I think that's mostly because before starting I was pretty close to my natural muscle capabilities, so everybody sort of has like a natural peak, if you want to talk about that, where you can push your body up into a certain level and you sort of hit this wall where like that's as much as you're going to be able to squat normally or whatever, or that's how far you're able to run or bike if you're in a marathon, if you're into cycling, right? That's just as far as you can go naturally. Your body is pushing past that, and then usually you can take, you'll hear this from certain people where you start on anabolics and then you can push past that, right? Like they help push past that limit to the next natural limit. Well, I was already so close to what I think my natural limit was. Like it didn't I would have had to take something stronger to really push past this. But it did let me maintain that upper limit, right? Whereas before, I could noticeably see it starting to decrease.
Yeah.
Right? Both in my strength and my endurance. So, like, yeah, it was horrible. It was absolutely awful. I didn't feel like me. For some ladies, if they're watching or listening, I would liken this to what's been described to me about women on birth control pills, right? Because that's a hormone blocker, essentially.
That's a steroid for all the men
steroid
out there. The one that everybody's saying natural.
Yeah.
Like if your girl is taking fucking pills all the time, that's a derivative of a type of steroid. That's what's blocking her from getting fucking pregnant.
Yeah.
So your chick's on steroids.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you enjoy nutting in her, just remember she's on the juice too. Okay. So don't don't judge us.
Don't judge.
You judgy.
But like I've talked to some women who are like on it before, and then they get off it because whatever reason they want to have kids, IUD. I don't know. Pick.
So, whatever reason. Yeah.
Whatever. I think. There's a comedian, she talks about it in one of her specials, and I've heard the same thing from everybody. And it's basically like, oh, I finally met myself. They get back on their natural cycle, their hormones, and they're like, oh, I didn't know this was me.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the way I felt. I knew who I was before, and I was like, this isn't me. I'm not myself.
Well, on that note, like the whole birth control thing, because it's a steroid, so we'll talk about that. It ties in. Like my wife, she was on birth control for like over a decade. So she only came off it like when we had kids, and she'll go back on it after like 6 or 8 months after having kids. So we had like 3 kids in like 2 years. Had twins and stuff. That my older one. So. Besides that, pretty much from the time we started dating, like when she was on the pill, and she's a fairly quiet and docile person, and she's pretty agreeable. But the longer she stayed on the pills, like near the end of it, like she doesn't take it anymore. She stopped like last year, like the beginning of last year, and we were like fighting all the time, man.
When she was on the pill.
And when she was near the end, I'll say the last 2 years she was on the pill, it was just like. We're just fighting over stupid shit, little things that would explode. And also at that same time as she's taking, like she's has this buildup of testosterone essentially from the pills. She's getting more aggressive. She's getting more agitated, and my testosterone is dropping. So I'm like moody. So we're just fucking like bitching at each other. So she got off it, and this is obviously just anecdotal. But when she got off it, within like 2 weeks, like we haven't argued. Like she's so nice. She's like literally the same person she's back to the same person like that I met when we were dating. She's so nice. She's so fucking nice.
Your wife is a very kind person, I will say. And
yeah,
her brother,
and now
her brother, who's a giant, and he is just absolutely he's awesome. He's absolutely wonderful. Like
lucky beats.
But he's just a nice man.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah, but yeah, like
he's not a nice guy. By the way, not nice guy like people on the internet say. He's actually a nice man.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good man.
Yeah.
But like no, my wife, she's back to exactly to the person I fell in love with, and I got on testosterone. Like hey, I've only been on it for like 3.5 weeks, but. No, I didn't have the same symptoms as you, but I did have like mood swings. So I finally got like blood work done. I got testosterone test done. So I was near the end range. So the end range for our age group is like 13.8 to I think 28. Yeah. That's the range for the free test. I forgot the units that I used, but like I was at 13.9. So I'm near the end range of what is considered normal. But, some people say, oh, you're totally fine and you don't need testosterone. But I never experienced this in my life. So prior to taking testosterone, still complaining to you how fucked up it was. Like I'll work out and I was so sore.
Yeah.
Like I've been working out since I was 16.
Especially in your joints, right?
I had I couldn't stop complaining about how terrible I felt in the morning. My joints were hurt, everything. And then I would go to jiu-jitsu and I couldn't train back-to-back days.
Yep.
It was like I told you, remember I had to take 3 days off from between sessions. I'd go on Monday and I couldn't go until Friday. I was fucked. I was like, what's going on?
Remember what I say? I do like 2-3 days, something.
Yeah.
Right? And then
Dude, I couldn't even work out with weights. Like I had to choose between I do a day of jiu-jitsu, no lifting weights. Remember I kept telling you I was just doing pull-ups like once a week.
Yep.
That's it, pull-ups. And when I started going back to jiu-jitsu in November, I had to choose between either like doing jiu-jitsu, working out, or recovery, and I can only do like 2 of those 3 things. So obviously, I had to recover, so that was taken up, or be jiu-jitsu. But it was only twice a week. Now after taking it, I can go 2 days. I can go back-to-back days. I get sore, but like I'm a normal person sore. Like how I was sore when I was in my 20s and I worked out hard. It wasn't like literally felt like shit. I didn't feel, and my joint pain almost went away completely. I do have like tendinitis in my elbows and stuff.
I get a little bit in here still after a hard day of training, but I mean that's just normal for being, especially if you're doing a lot of turtle or if you're doing a lot of side control. But like I was the same as you. Like I'd have to take multiple days off of anything. Now it's more of a time management issue. If I miss a day, it's because the day just went
that's totally different
for one reason or another. But it's not because my body was basically incapable of getting up to do whatever it is that I was scheduled to do that day.
I would, like I said, I would liking it. I would compare it to how we were in our 20s when we were doing jiu-jitsu. It was like, and working out like all the time. We were fine. We'd be sore, whatever, but it wasn't like a big deal. I would say in the mid-20s and stuff. So we got that back, and then my patience got a lot better with my family, with my kids. So I don't get angry or annoyed as often, and certainly not anywhere near the same intensity. I just get like mildly annoyed now more than anything, and that's about it. So my moods are quite stable, and I just don't let anything really bother me. And had a lot of brain fog. Like I didn't realize how much brain fog I had, because when you have brain fog, it takes a while to figure out like what's going on. And I've been keeping a journal since I was like maybe 17 or 18 in the gym. I have like piles of notebooks of my training. Yeah.
Same here. I'm like halfway through this one book, and I got maybe 7, 8 others just kicking around. Because you should. Sorry, just completely off topic, but you procked the idea. You should keep a journal of both your weights, what exercises you're doing. But I haven't started this, but I want to. Is I want a jiu-jitsu journal as well, because we talk about sometimes what we did in class yesterday or the week before. But one thing I want to start doing, and there's a blue belt that was doing it at class. I'm like, that's a really smart idea. Why am I not training this just kind of like kind of weightlifting, being like, okay, just after class, just take a few notes. Drilled this technique to this, drilled that technique to this. Didn't like this thing because it didn't work for me that well. First roll, note. Second roll, note. Just like 5 minutes of just writing a couple things down. And I'm gonna see if I can actually put that into practice. We'll see.
Kind of done that. I put it in my regular journal for like working out, like pen and paper still. Right now.
Everybody, just nothing beats
pen and paper.
This, like all the digital stuff on your phone, whatever. But just to lock things into your memory, just. Take it from some 2 guys who grew up during the digital revolution, where we know the difference between, having to search for a library book via paper and being able to look up everything online with a voice command. Nothing will beat pen and paper for locking things into your memory. Nothing. Okay, rant over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, you were talking.
Yeah, like like I
experience.
was saying about the whole notebook thing and the brain fog. So like I think I told you I certainly told like my buddy Tim this. I think I told you like my training log the last couple of years prior to taking testosterone. I was like becoming increasingly like erratic. You know, I wasn't consistent. Yeah, it was like I go back and look at it. It was just gibberish. It's like I used to write really neatly and stuff, and then my workouts. I wouldn't skip workouts, and everything was really systematic. And then the last couple of years, it became just like random workouts. And it started missing days, and started skipping this and that. It became really bad, and ever since I got back in Jiu-Jitsu, it got better, but then it got even better once I started taking testosterone, and I'm consistent, extremely consistent. It's back to what when I was like, I'll say my peak natural testosterone was probably in my early 30s, because that was where I was literally my strongest, and then because I concentrate purely on powerlifting, so and I'm not even as strong as I am now compared to when I was at my physical peak. So just in case people think like you take testosterone, you're just going to be super strong without like doing much or anything.
We can talk about how anabolics actually work versus say human growth hormone in a second, but like that's not what happens. But to mirror what you were saying, like if I go back even in the training log I have right now, and I go back a year, which is near the front of the book, I always write the date at the top, whatever date, and I'd write one date, and then there would be like the next page, the next day, I'm like, that was 4 days later. Like there'd be just gaps, like, and then I'd have like 2, and then there'd be like another 3 days in between the dates or something like that. So it was just, and even though the workouts were the same, because I just go and copy, I did notice two things. Speaking of brain fog, one, I stopped being able to do math. I think I mentioned that I've got a business degree before, but like math is since grade like 9 hasn't really been a problem. But like gym math is pretty easy. It's 45 plus a 45 or 55 plus a 55. Like they go in standard increments, and I'd be like, how the fuck do I put 405 on the bar? How many plates is that? Derp-a-derp. Like, and I just like couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, simple things take longer, and then it just gets frustrating, and you're just untidy. Your mind's untidy, essentially.
Yeah. And I noticed
it's not good. Like,
I was also another thing that was weird is I became okay with disorder in the environment around me.
Oh. Yeah,
right? Even though if you've been watching for a minute, you can probably see I usually have like things around me, and you have your gloves behind you and stuff like that. But all those things are in their place for a reason, right? Everything has its own spot. Even if I move it, it's here, it's there, but it's ordered. And if you look at, I'm going to show you my gym, like everything, it's in its place and always goes back into this place. But for a long time, like in the house or whatever, I just became okay with like things lying around.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
And it was just like, that's fine.
Yeah, you just like look at like a pile, like not trash, but like just like like a sock here, this and that. You're like, oh, I don't want to pick it up. Yeah, you become, but then that shit piles up, and then it just becomes a bigger mess. And you just don't feel like there's any. Why should I take the initiative to even do this little meager task? But now it's like, oh, okay, you just do it, like, because you just have that. Oh, look, that's not right. Let's just put it back to where it was, and it's just not a big deal. Then you don't like get all pissy about it too. Before I'd be like, oh, why isn't this done? Why isn't that done? I just do it myself now, or now that my wife's off the pill, like she has to do it herself.
Sometimes I become like little indignant, like even now, it's like, why am I cleaning up this mess? But then that like passes really quick, like it's fine.
Yeah. So acting it out instead of like
just 5 seconds of my day. It's
exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. You're just more patient. You may have a dialogue in your head like, oh, that's fucking annoying, but then it goes away really quickly, right? You don't stew on it. You don't feel some type of way, or Or essentially be petty about it. You're not like, petty.
And sort of self-loathing. I forgot about this, but like low T, like self-loathing was a thing. Like speaking of that, you'd miss those workouts. Well, I just beat myself up. Like, why didn't you do it? You sack of crap, you lazy bastard. And
you're pussy.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was just like the self-loathing was, and that's not healthy. That's not good. You shouldn't talk to yourself like that, right? Like,
whatever you say to yourself, it sticks to you. You're the only one that can hear it, and you're going to hear it all the time. You talk to yourself, it sticks with you.
One of the things I heard from a therapist was basically it was I forget. I think he was on Cinema Therapy. Different YouTube channel. I think it was him. But I've heard it repeated by a bunch of different therapists. It's like, if you say the things you say to yourself, would you say to a child, like a 5-year-old child? And if the answer is no, then why are you saying that to yourself? Well, here's the thing. When your hormones are fucked up, you still can't answer that question. You're like, would you say it to a child? No. Well, are you going to say it to yourself? Yes. And it's not cool.
No, hormones are like super important, and I know there's a massive stigma out there about taking testosterone. By the way, testosterone, people were wondering, it's like the most benign of all the steroids.
That is the protein powder of anabolic supplements.
Yeah. It has the lowest. It has the lowest rate of side effects. It has the most pro to con ratio. Because a lot of things may give you better pros, but they come with a lot of the negatives. Like the cons of those things are like tremendous. It's not even worth it.
Con that I have had from testosterone, and I use the gel. It's in this area because the way where you put the gel is you put it up on your shoulders, right, on your pecs, maybe a little bit around your just the side, never like on your tummy, never on your heart or that areas, right? Little back knee. Got a little back knee back here. Just a couple spots. That's and not really that severe. It's not like some of those people who are in their early 20s, the influencers who start doing some harder stuff and their entire back explodes and back knee. No, it's just like right now I got a little patch here.
That would be the exception. Like the side effects are going to happen to like a certain like percentage of people who take testosterone. Whether they're in the minority. Like the majority of people who take testosterone, whether if they are critically low or in my case like lower end of the normal, and you want to optimize, then, and also you got to remember the range the range before, like I don't know how many years ago, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, the free test, not the total testosterone, not the free, we're just talking about total. The total testosterone range for any age group as the bar has gone lower. We were just talking about that before the podcast. And then now it's lower than ever because they take samples of what's the testosterone of the average man these days. So if the average man has low testosterone overall these days, the bar gets lower and lower, right? But and why would you want to be on the bottom barrel, like the bottom end of normal? It's like being on the bottom end of the tax bracket and be like, yeah, you got a job, you're making minimum wage. It's better than no money. It's better than being on welfare. But then on the upper end, you got people who are like millionaires. It's like, but I want to be up there. It's like, oh no, you don't need to be up there. You're fine being in the middle with, working at minimum wage, $16, $15 an hour. You're like, well, but that sucks. It's like, don't worry. You're fine. You're alive.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. It's like, but I want to optimize. I want to be better. I want to get up there. Yeah. It's like, no, you can't. You're not allowed to. That's stupid. That's why I wasn't allowed to go to see endocrinologist. They're like, oh, you don't want to kill yourself. So. Yeah, you're not depressed. That's the thing about our healthcare in Canada. It's like, it's like that. What's that Ken Jeong meme? He's like, oh, but did you die? From basically it's like, did you die? I'm like, oh, okay, or did you almost die? Like, okay, now you can have access to our healthcare.
The thing with the Canadian healthcare is, we don't have to pay for it. But if you want to really take your health into your own hands and under your own control, you are going to have to take the initiative to push for certain things, because
even then,
the system, even then, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
I had to get my tonsils out, and I ran into so much bureaucratic crap, which is one of the reasons I did find out I had sleep apnea, but the initial test was invalid because my tonsils were so goddamn swollen that I couldn't sleep anyways, because I basically had an apple in my throat. I couldn't breathe through it, but I still had to do, I had to see my doctor, and then I had to push to go see ear, nose, throat doctor. Then he had to get the sleep apnea test. Then I had to push to, they're like, yeah, you have sleep apnea. Oh, but we can't do this thing. And then I had to go back to him and be like, dude, I've had 3 infections where I've had to take medical drugs. These things need to come out. He's like, yeah, I know, but I also need to go through this process. It was a fucking struggle. And then, of course, COVID hit. So then I had to wait for
But did you die, Sam?
But did I die? No.
But I was
dying.
That's why they want to hear you. He's like, I did.
But you really have to push. And if you don't, it can leave you behind, for sure.
Oh, if you're not, and even then, if you don't have a willing and patient physician, like a family physician, oh, you're fucked. You're so fucked. Yeah. It's basically just as bad as having no physician and doing walk-in clinics and stuff, because it's even more frustrating in some sense, because you have this family doctor, you think that's gonna help you with your lifestyle, changes, you want to get healthier, you're trying to remove these tonsils or whatever, it is, testosterone, whatever it is, and then they're just like, no, we have to go through the steps. And I get it, there are bureaucratic steps here that need to be taken, because even though we technically don't pay for it, we pay through to Medicare and whatnot, but we don't feel it. We don't feel it.
Different method.
Yeah.
And yes, we do paid less than, say, you would in the U.S.
Way less.
Out of pocket.
But
people still pay for it. In the end.
Yeah.
It's
but we just don't feel it. It's just structured in the way we don't feel it. But the unfortunately, because of we have such our medical system is so taxed that, one, there's not enough.
It's getting worse too.
It's getting worse. It's just there's so many people using the service that there's not enough professionals in the service to service.
And the people in the service are attempting to leave said service or go to something else. One of the problems with GPs right now is they don't get paid enough. So you get
go ahead.
One of the problems is they don't get paid enough because they have a cap, right? So they have a cap on patients and they have a cap on salary cap, essentially, right? They can only get paid so much depending on how much service they provide, right? That's the easiest way I can explain it. It's way more complicated than that, but that's the basic of it, right? So the thing is, if we have an increasing cost of living, I'm using British Columbia as the example, because especially the lower mainland, we have an ever-increasing cost of living, right? Things are just getting more expensive. But doctors are only allowed to make X amount in the year from providing their service as a doctor. They can do other medical things to earn more money. However, from providing their service, their salary is basically within a range, fixed, and caps out. Well, who wants to move here? You can have surgeons in the U.S. make millions of dollars because they perform hundreds of surgeries or in a year, and they get paid for those surgeries, right? And they get paid quite well to do an excellent job. In British Columbia, you don't get that. Once you've hit your limit, that's it. You're done. That's how much money you get, and have a great day.
I mean, yes and no.
Again,
I think ophthalmologists they make quite a bit of money. It's for the surgeries. I think we're talking about
I'm talking in general.
In general, family physicians. People say they clearly make into the six figures. But the issue is that their caseload.
They're not poor.
Yeah.
They're not poor.
But,
however,
their caseload is massive. People don't understand.
So if you look at it on a caseload per capita, and their dollars, they don't make anywhere near what a doctor say in the States could.
we got pretty strict rules compared to the United States when it comes to um like like speaking fees and like how much the sales reps can come in. I work in healthcare, so like the sales rep, the rules have been changed. Sales reps come in and basically like solicitate these doctors to do a speaking engagement and all that stuff. It's not over, but it's pretty strict now and it's kind of scrutinized. So like doctors in the United States, they make tons of money for like speaking fees and whatnot, or like
One thing
having
I
these
do agree with in the Canadian system.
meetings.
One thing I do agree with is new prescription drugs. How sales reps can't like get
Just push
doctors.
it.
Yeah, like they do in the States, where they can, pay doctors for prescription referrals to a specific type of drug. I'm like, that's shady as fuck. So, anyways, sorry, I got
No,
you
no,
back.
yeah.
Go, please continue.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I talking about again?
Speaking fees for doctors.
Oh yeah.
Rules are stricter.
Oh yeah. Just the red tape in in Canada, not just in British Columbia, for like people to like optimize their health, and even if you have fucking cancer, man, that's like my neighbor. She waited forever. She had like a non alcoholic liver disease, whatever that liver disease was. It's just like she was born with like a shitty liver,
Not cirrhosis.
and she's like, no, she doesn't drink and none of that stuff, as
Right.
far as I know. Like she got a liver transplant, but she was on that fucking she was like number like 200 or something on that transplant list or something, or more than that. It was just ridiculous.
I was
And
gonna say
basically
200
like,
bad.
dude, her liver was at end stage, and she was like looking not so great at the end. And then one day they're like, hey, like they kept pushing her, like, so like as your severity goes up, they push you to the
There
list.
on the list.
Yeah, so she finally got her liver transplant and stuff, but she was on that list for a while, man. I mean, it was like terrible. And she was like telling me like all these other people that are waiting for all these transplants, and you hear all these things in the hospital, like just people waiting for, they're waiting to die essentially,
Yeah.
because it takes forever.
The only
And not just
benefit.
a transplant, for like even like getting surgery and stuff, like for cancer and like getting X-rays done. I think like I should know the exact number, but like to get like an ultrasound or like a fucking CAT scan in the hospital, it could take months, man, months. Like if you got like stage 3 cancer and you just found out,
You mean an MRI, not an ultrasound, right?
yeah. Sorry, second.
You mean an MRI, not an ultrasound, right?
No, ultrasound. Sorry, like ultrasound. No, sorry, it's like MRI.
MRI
Takes
or
forever.
yeah.
But here's the thing. In my experience, like I tore my bicep.
Yep.
So as you know, we were training. I tore my bicep in Surrey, and then so I looked at the wait times. Can you go online and look at the wait times? So I went to where my old work used to be, a different hospital in Vancouver. So like a 30-minute drive. I go there. I go wait like 2 hours. See the doctor, and she tells me, yeah, your bicep like torn clearly, but we're gonna do an ultrasound on your arm and shoulder, see how it is, but we don't have orthopedic ultrasound. We can just do like a regular ultrasound here. We can only do X-rays. We can only do like ultrasounds for like if you're like pregnant, like vaginal, like endovaginal stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? And then and I worked there and I didn't even know that. She's like, I can't give you, like, I asked for like a request. She said, oh yeah, no problem, I'll do it. She was great, doctor. She's like, but you have to come back and go to this other hospital. Like, it was in downtown. I live so far from downtown. I live in a totally different city. And I'm like, oh, can't you just go, can I have it closer to where I live? It's like, oh, well, unfortunately you came to the emergency room, and as the attending physician here, I can only give like or like a requisition for the MRI and ultrasound within my healthcare authority. So, and you can't even go private. You can't even go to a private one or whatever, where like it's outside the hospital. You have to go within the hospital.
Yeah.
Because I could have gone to. I just could walk in the next day and gotten like the ultrasound there. But they were going to send me to downtown, and it was going to take 2 weeks after I tore my bicep.
Yeah, well,
I mean, what if I need surgery and so that kind of stuff? And to see my specialist, it took like 8 days to see a specialist. And so if I had needed surgery for my bicep, like it was if I had torn my bicep off the elbow instead of off the shoulder, I've been fucked. I've been super fucked. Like I need surgery. Like my left arm would have been just like a mess, non-functional. I wouldn't be able to do jiu-jitsu. And anyways, like it took like 2 or 3 weeks to get all that shit together, and I had to do that. And along with my family physician, and she's great, she's awesome. Without her, it would have been so much harder. So I had to like basically be on the phone with her, go to her all the time. Like she accommodated me like crazy, and I was seeing her like twice a week, 3 times a week kind of thing for like 3 weeks. And then she accommodated me, and she was like trying to get like the specialist to call me back, but he's like super booked too, and he can only see people if I go through the ER. And like, it was a bunch of red tape, and healthcare authorities don't talk to each other. So we have like a few healthcare authorities here, and they don't even communicate with each other because they're not really allowed to because of delicacy.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact for you. I found out because of my daughter that apparently referrals expire. So if you're referred to, so she was referred to a pediatrician, and sometime later we tried to go back to the pediatrician, but our referral had expired. So we had to go back to the doctor to get a new referral to said pediatrician before they would see us. That's weird because we're already an existing patient. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there is definitely some stuff in the bureaucratic system of the Canadian healthcare system. And here's another thing. You said there's 2 health authorities in BC. Each
That's not 2. There's multiple. There's
2 major ones. There's multiple. You're right. There's well, I won't call them out because it gets sued.
Yeah, I work for one. I don't want to call.
Yeah, I won't do that. There's 2 major ones. There's multiple, but like each province in Canada technically has. The province is healthcare is run by them. So this is basically like, say, every state in the U.S. has its own healthcare system that it runs independently, but the federal government gives them money. So everybody blames the federal government for how bad the Canadian healthcare system, but in reality, it's the provinces that are at fault. If your healthcare system,
their own sovereignty of their own healthcare system.
They have their own healthcare system. They get money from the federal government, which the government can earmark certain dollars to go towards certain programs, but then for the rest of it, they sort of get a blank check. Not exactly, again, simplifying, because we're not going to be here for a Canadian political legal lecture.
Not today.
Not why we're here. But the point is, all that red tape means that if you have a severe injury, unless you actually get rushed into the emergency room, straight into surgery from the emergency room, you got to go through what he went through, what I went through with my tonsils, and getting back to your hormone levels.
Back to hormones,
yeah. We're circling back. If you are in the lower end range, but not like I was, which to give you an idea, like the lower end range, I think you said was like 12 or something for our age group.
It was like 13 deciliters per whatever. Yeah, I was 13.9.
Yeah, so mine was at 4.
Yeah, that's bad.
Like it was real bad. And it was 2 blood tests independently taken a month apart, and it was at 4. Because of the red tape, I had to take 2 blood tests for them to confirm that that's what was going on. So I did have to wait a month before I could even get the prescription to start the treatment.
Yeah, they don't even believe it. It's like,
they're like, oh well, that could have been a miss. Somebody could have messed with it, so we're gonna. And it was literally like the number was like 0.2 different. I'm like,
dude, it's like that. It's like if you're in range, like fuck it. Like even you're at the lower end of the range, like I was like, you're in range, fuck it. But if you're like if you're slightly below, they're like, oh, we gotta do this again, but we'll make you wait. It's like, what the fuck?
But like I wanted to ask you about that because or bring that back up because they do it within these ranges, right?
Yeah.
And the ranges are taken on this bell curve of the average man's testosterone, and it has decreased over years. I forget what it was, but it's decreased by like 1% every year since like 1982 or something. Right, the amount, the general, like that bell curve bar is just shifted lower every year. So the thing is, you said yours was like 13 or something, like 13.9. I can't remember.
13.9.
Sure. Back in 1995, 13.9 might have been considered low.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's apparently okay. So
what? Yeah, why is it okay now?
Why is it? Yeah, why is it acceptable now when it comes with all of these possible detriments to health? Whereas,
here's the question. The real question, what we're trying to say, I think, is that why is the standard of health for men in terms of testosterone lower? Why are we lowering the standard health? Why are we not increasing the standard? It's like you're trying to set the bar so low. It's like it's like well, it's okay to be 59% fucking body fat. It's okay, that kind of thing.
I have a theory. I sort of have a theory on that, and I think it's the backlash to the bodybuilding era, where everybody saw people taking steroids, which brings me into what steroids actually do. So, because we're not talking human growth hormone, that is something completely different. So don't get that confused. What steroids, testosterone, and other synthetics do?
So mainly testosterone, just like testosterone, cypionate, those main two ones, right?
They don't grow muscle. Anybody who thinks that that's what they do is incorrect. They don't make your muscles bigger. What they do is help you repair your muscles. From damage.
Yeah.
And it's the damage and repair that makes the muscle grow. What the hormone does is expedite that repair. So we were talking a whole bunch about how we wouldn't be able to function the next day if we had a hard workout or a hard roll. We wouldn't be able to. We had a lot of brain fog, all that stuff. All that, if you're within range, TRT does is it just brings you back to that baseline where you can do what you were doing at the same rate you were doing it. Are you going to just take tests and sit on the couch and be jacked? No. You still need to put in the work.
Wish.
Yeah, I wish.
You
still need to put in the work. You still need to do the time. Yeah. What it does is it just allows you to maybe, if you have normal T levels and you take some steroids, some anabolics, you'll be able to push a little bit harder, sure. But it's not gonna. It's not gonna take you above and beyond. You're not gonna become Captain America. This isn't the Super Soldier Serum.
I mean,
it's not what it is.
If you take, if you don't take any testosterone, like synthetic testosterone, how much testosterone you produce every day kind of undulates. Like it's not very consistent. Like consistent, you'll make it. Yeah.
Lower
but if you do what we're doing, we get ours is more stable because we're taking a synthetic version. So we get to the benefits of having the stable higher level of testosterone across, right? And then it helps with recovery. And I'll be frank, I'm taking more than you are. I think your dose. I forgot what your dose was, but my dose is I guess I'll say 225 milligrams. So I'm taking slightly more than the average TRT. I think the TRT is probably average is 100 to 200 a week.
I think with what I'm taking, it's 2 per week.
200?
Yeah.
200? Yeah, 200. Okay.
As long as you're on
the upper end.
I take mine daily.
Yeah, which is actually the most stable. If you take,
whether it's morning
cream or injection, it's always stable if you take it every day. I take it every other day. I just split them up, and then I feel that's the most consistent. And I don't use a cream. I use I do intramuscular injection, and it feels great. And I will say though, I'm not sure if I'm a hyper responder. We talked about it earlier on the before we started filming the podcast. I regained 3, maybe 4 pounds of muscle, and I'm fairly I'm not a super muscular guy, but I got good muscle
frame.
prior to TRT. So hey, we both worked hard prior to taking testosterone. People might think like, hey, these guys are just like they look the way they do. They lift as much as they do.
We both had our blue
No,
belts
we've been
before.
working out together. Like you introduced me to working out. We've been working out since we were teenagers, man.
14,
We've been fucking consistent.
I think we started when we were 14, something like that.
15?
15?
Maybe 14 or 15. 14 or 15.
Yeah. 14, 15,
Dude,
I think
man.
we started something like that. But yeah. So you're absolutely like, we both had our blue belts before we started TRT, right? So we it didn't help with that. We you set 2 deadlift records before doing that. I maxed out my deadlift and my bench and my squat for what I was doing.
You were doing strongman stuff and everything
I was doing
like that?
strongman stuff. I did a 750-pound yoke for 100 feet. No roids, nothing. So you're absolutely right. Before we started all this, we worked really fucking hard. So, 100%.
I want people to realize, like I had a 600+ pound squat, like ass to grass, high bar. Like it's on my Instagram. Like, I don't post there anymore. Like fucking it's like the Olympic style squat, bro. And then I have a 700-pound deadlift. Like I didn't even fucking just. And people might say, "Oh, you took all this stuff." They can say whatever they want, but I did that when I was like 32, all this stuff. And then now I'm like we're almost 39. We're gonna be 39 in a few months.
This year, in a few months. Yeah.
Look, and you've been on it for a year. I've been on it for almost a month. And I've seen immediate effects. Like, and it's for me like the muscle building effect. I'm doing the same workouts more consistently. Like I haven't missed anything. I'm doing more of it. I can go to Jiu-Jitsu twice a day and go to the gym. And that's how I'm gaining more muscle, is because I can literally put in more work. My body can recover, and I can rinse and repeat the next day.
Yeah.
So, but if I just sat around, like you said, that shit ain't gonna happen. I get to do more of what I need to build more muscle, to gain more jiu-jitsu skill, because I can recover from it.
And again, you're also you're still going to the doctor. You're checking your heart health. You're checking your kidney health. You're checking your liver health, right? So that's the other thing is, if you're gonna do something like this, and again, we're not taking tren or whatever, like some of the more dangerous anabolics. We're not taking human growth hormone. If you want to do that, that's up to you. But
we're not.
I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying that's your business. Like, we get a blood test every 3 months to check on that stuff, right?
Free in Canada.
That's the wonderful thing. If you have insurance in the States, use it. Use it or lose it. But that's just the thing. And you also, I don't know if you do this, but I do this as well. Because before I put on my cream, I take a shower to open the pores. Because that's recommended, right? So you take a hot shower. Injection. You do the injection, right? No, I'm just saying. I take a hot shower. I check myself. I check my body. Do a little bit of this in the shower. Maybe grab a little of everything there, right? If you're gonna do this shit, and you've done like everything we did before with all that weightlifting, you're gonna be pretty in tune with your body. But that's what you need to do. Like, it comes with a level of responsibility to yourself.
Yeah, you need to have it's a lot easier to have already have the lifestyle, like a healthier lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, an active lifestyle, then jump on this kind of thing. Whereas you're gonna do this now, and then you can do a testosterone, and then you're not really doing anything. Except even if I'm assuming that everybody watching would be doing jiu-jitsu. So like, if you weren't doing anything prior to before, you're just doing jiu-jitsu, and you're a white belt, blue belt, whatever belt you are, and then you don't really go to the gym, you just do jiu-jitsu, and now you want to hop on testosterone. Yeah, it's going to help you for sure recover, but you're still not doing all that you can and should do to get the maximum benefit from testosterone. You should be going to the gym, one, for your health, to fix your body, because jiu-jitsu, really, at the end of the day, does not build muscle. It is joint and muscle destroying. It's catabolic.
It'll
you know,
build,
the hunch over. I mean, you guys just hunch over and turtle. Your guard. You're just hunch.
Internal rotation, gorilla.
Yeah.
Lower back aches.
Everybody, and like 75% of you guys like the fucking pull guard. Like disgusting guard pullers.
We'll talk about that in a segment. I think a cast that you talked about was what was the name about gi no gi? What was that? We'll have that.
Comment the gi or to gi or no gi.
Yeah, well,
that's
one of our casts coming up. It'll be on that, and I have a feeling guard pulling will come up in that cast a bunch.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe another one. Or in the belt system too. That's another thing.
Yeah, we got that coming down too. But to gi or no gi, that'll be fun. To
gear or no gear.
Jiu-Jitsu. Here's the other thing. That's what I wanted to mention. Cardio-wise, Jiu-Jitsu will get your cardiovascular system better at doing Jiu-Jitsu. But
do more Jiu-Jitsu.
Do more Jiu-Jitsu. But the thing is, you're not going to be able to run a marathon if you do a whole bunch of Jiu-Jitsu.
It's very sports specific.
It's very sports specific. I hate running. I have always hated running. I despise it. I'll use an elliptical at me. I'll tell you it works just fine for keeping the heart rate. I'll get on a bike if I need to, but I fucking hate running. And guess what? Jiu-Jitsu, for as long as I did it, even when I was doing it more than I was now, I still couldn't run 10K to save my fucking life. Because
especially if you're a guard puller, you're just on your ass.
You're a guard puller, and I'm not a guard puller. But like, just like taking testosterone, doing jiu-jitsu is amazing. But for those that think that if you've never done any physical activity, even if you're skinny, right? It's a fighting system. Let's be honest. It's a fighting system. It's not meant to make you healthy, and I think it's a bit of a misnomer where it's like, feel more physically fit. Yes, for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
For jiu-jitsu. Just add that at the end.
I'm in like constant discomfort. Like right now, if you watch me on any of these episodes, I'm constantly moving. Because my fucking neck and shoulders are fucking killing me. And this fucking seat is like hurting my ass. But anyways.
Well, the other thing is, since we're talking about T levels, hormones, I had a kid ask me, because he knew that I did some strongman and some bodybuilding, powerlifting, all that shit. And he's like in the beginning of doing it, he's like, I'm sore all the time. When do you not stop being sore? And I just went, no. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, you're just going to be sore the rest of your life. This is how it works.
Your muscles or your joints?
It's either your muscles or your joints. Like something's gonna be sore all of the time. But having the right hormone balance makes it much more bearable. More bearable. Yeah.
Not that you want to go back and do it again.
Yeah. So just to dispel that right there, like my back is pretty tight right now because I finally was able to go. I was sick for a week and I was finally able to go back and roll, and I did a bit of a back workout. So yeah, but like before my hormones were in check, I would just be laying on the couch, just kill me. But now I can do this podcast with one of my best buds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I totally agree. It's changed my life. It's like I said, it's only been just shy of a month, and I reaped the benefits of it. I do believe though, like I am taking like just a little bit more. It is a better way of like getting the testosterone in your body. That's just my opinion.
One thing I will say about testosterone as a man who's on it, it is kind of addictive. And it's meant to be, because that's a natural thing. Testosterone is a self-rewarding hormone. As you use it, it makes you, as you accomplish things as a man, when you're on it, or you have the proper hormone profile, even if you're not on it, testosterone rewards you for doing hard things and accomplishing it.
Yeah.
So when I talked about that, like you're just not interested in doing things that you did before, especially if they're hard, having your hormones in balance, or if you need to be on a supplemental hormone like TRT, you will start feeling more rewards for the hard things you do and achieve, and that, I think, in your brain goes, no, I want the T. I want it. I want to keep it. I don't want to lose this. Because you don't want to feel unaccomplished, even if you're accomplishing things. And that's something I didn't mention as a detriment, is even at work I'd accomplish something and have zero shits given. Like, that's nice. No reward feeling.
You're more likely to take on challenges because the testosterone is like tied into, your dopamine, right? So dopamine gives us joy, the chemical in our body that gives us joy. So, when your testosterone levels are high, you achieve something, whatever goal it can be something minor. Like for me, when I'm working, it's like busy at work. We got all these things we have to do. Usually before I'm like, oh fuck, there's so much bullshit. Yeah. Now I still say it, but I say it in my head, and then I just do it, and then
you feel good afterwards.
Like I did it. Yeah, it's not so much like you feeling a euphoria, like busting loads over this fucking work that you gotta do. But it's like it's a sense of accomplishment. It's like, oh shit, yeah, I did it. I'm the man. I did it. I'm not getting reward for it. Nobody's like clapping their hands. Nobody's giving me an award. Like literally. I'm not getting more pay, but it's like, okay, I did. It was a difficult day at work, and I bunkered down, and it's like, oh, I did it. I'm the man today, even though I'm the only one telling myself that. Whereas before I was like, fuck, it was a terrible day at work. Bullshit, I shouldn't have to do all the work because I got, my piece of shit coworkers left all the shit because they're dumb as fuck and they don't know what to do. Stupid cunts. Now it's like, oh, these stupid cunts left me the stuff. I can do it. I'm the man. I got it. And you do it. And you're
yeah.
See?
So
different mindset, same amount of swear words, but it's different. It was good. I think I feel different. I think I'm more upbeat. I think if you made it through all the podcasts, if we were to go back to watch the podcasts, like the previous ones, when I wasn't on it, I think like the last one and this one, it's like when I'm on it, I think I have a different personality. In the sense that it's like more positive, more energy and stuff.
Yeah, I can. I'm not gonna say I can see that in you. What I meant was like I can see that being a result of taking it, for sure.
Yeah.
You feel more upbeat. You feel more willing to take on challenges for sure.
Yeah.
And
earn anything. Huh?
Some people are gonna say like, well, what about the roid rage thing, right? It's like, you're gonna have to be way off. You're going to have to be way off in the frickin' distance of anything normal for that really to happen. So that really is not a concern with what we're talking about.
Yeah. I think if you're abusing it, like, oh, I'm going to take like some bodybuilding doses.
Yeah.
I don't know the side effects of that because I personally I have no desire to take anything like that. Yeah.
If you want to know the side effects of the bodybuilding dose, we've talked about it this other podcast, Renaissance Periodization. Look up Dr. Mike talks with Jared Feather. They talk about the detriments of taking high doses of different anabolics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The downsides, everything from your limp dick issue to your mental faculties. But what we're saying is that I don't think there's anything wrong to optimizing where you are on that scale, and I agree that the scale has been ever decreasing, and I think that's hurting men's health.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there's other, I think like Derek from More Plates, More Dates. That's a good, if you like all the minor minutia of like, what this drug does or this protocol or whatnot. He breaks it down like probably more in detail than you actually would want.
Yeah,
but if you're into that kind of stuff,
like a degree in microbiology to understand some of the shit he gets into. But he'll give.
Now he doesn't even have one. He just loves that shit.
If you want to learn more about the mental faculties, the neuro capabilities, and how the dopamine and testosterone system works. Andrew Huberman, of course.
Yeah, he's great.
If you don't know who he is, I'd be surprised.
Man.
Andrew Huberman takes you into that. Takes you down that path. Great resource as well.
Yeah. He's on TRT himself. He's a Stanford professor. He's a doctor of ophthalmology and neuroscience research and neuroscience, something like that. And then he's on
ophthalmology. He's a neuroscientist at Stanford, but I think he's head of the department. Is he head of the department now, or
I'm not sure. Maybe
I don't know if he is, but he's definitely senior there.
Yeah, and he's great because I think he brings a very level-headed approach, and since he is doing research, I think he's very valid in what he has to say. I think all the sources that we name, Mike Hotel, Derek from More Plates, More Dates, Dr. Huberman.
Well, two of them are PhDs, so they're pretty solid.
Yeah. I think they're also open-minded, that they also realize and they tell people that a lot of the mainstream knowledge of testosterone or just any these health things are kind of outdated, and that they've been stigmatized. Like Anavar, for example, is a steroid. I'm not an Anavar, but
it's a steroid.
It's a type of steroid.
Most women apparently.
Because it doesn't have the androgenic effect.
Their voice still lowers, but not to the same extent.
Yeah, you don't grow facial hair or body hair. You don't get the male characteristic, but you see those bikini or fitness Olympia chicks where they got those boulder shoulders. It's utterly ridiculous.
For the ladies, if you start taking testosterone, if you start taking anabolics, you will change. Your voice will deepen. You things for the ladies they will irrevocably change.
Well, that's what they give women who are trying to transition to men. They give them a whole bunch of testosterone.
Oh, they make my TRT dose or yours look like a fucking joke.
Yeah. So to all those people who say men and women are the same, who are saying, why would a trans man, formerly a woman, would need bodybuilding doses of testosterone?
We're gonna put a pin in that one for another. We can cast on that and get canceled for it later. Yeah, they can't cancel us, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, just to the ladies on the short note, if you do take, we've been talking primarily to men, I believe, preferably men, not boys. If you're under legal age of what is it called? I forget. If you can't sign a contract, I don't think you should be on steroids of any sort. Well, not any sort. If you need hydrocortisone cream because you have a rash, that's fucking different.
Yeah, that's different.
We're nuanced here.
Yeah. But no, I'm talking about Anavar. If you burn victims, right? Burn victims, because when you get burned, I didn't know about this. I just stumbled upon this thing I saw. When you become a burn victim, for some reason, your body becomes super catabolic. Muscle wasting becomes a big deal. And I totally didn't know that. So they prescribe. I'm not sure how often, but they do prescribe burn victims with Anavar, to stop the muscle wasting. And when you are HIV positive, I think one of the game changers to HIV
has a
protocol, they give them testosterone.
Muscle degradation, right?
Yeah, so they give them testosterone as well, and then a slew of other health complications they prescribe, anabolics. So why is it if this thing is so bad, right? This hormones are so bad. We're just talking about basic testosterone. We're not even talking about the other ones. Just basic testosterone, right? And amphetamine, and it's so terrible. It gives you roid rage. It gives you these terrible side effects, right? Then why is it that when you're at your weakest with some sort of medical disease HIV or you're a burn victim, that now you can take it? It's so when you're physically weak, you could take this poison that is supposed to just absolutely just fuck you over, you know. But if you're healthy, if you take it, it's like, oh no, that you're gonna turn into some sort of like
Hulk.
roid rage Hulk and stuff like that. So it's been like stigmatized. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm glad that you're on it. I'm glad that I'm on it. And I'm not trying to.
To everybody who
like,
thinks that being on TRT, because we're just talking primarily about TRT here, they think that's cheating. Fuck you.
Yeah. If they don't drug test, it's not cheating.
It's not cheating.
It literally is not cheating.
But also, like, just in general, like, if they don't drug test, it's not cheating. And if you're not taking buckets of trenbolone or mass or whatever and some other shit, and it's banned, it's not cheating. It, like, again,
I mean, like,
I am a blue belt. I rolled with a black belt who was at least 80 pounds lighter than me.
And, you have no superpowers.
And I guarantee you, he was not on the juice or on gear, and that bastard still fucking heel hooked me. So I'm sorry. No, if you think it's cheating, it's not that much of a game changer to that specific sport. If you're juicing and cheat, if you're in the UFC and you're already at all your hormones are in check and it's banned to hell and you're juicing, now you're cheating.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're healthy. It's healthy.
Yeah. Even if you're not like, even if you're like not competing anything and you're on like steroids, like in the regular world, like it's not cheating. It's not cheating. You're just upset that people can build. They've taken the step to take their own life into their hand, their own health into their own hand, and they made that decision, whether informed or not well informed. I don't know, but you shouldn't be upset that somebody decided to take a whole concoction of like anabolics, you know, and they look super good, but they still have to train hard to get there. Yep. If it was that easy, then, dude, Jiu-Jitsu is rife with anabolics, and yeah, there's some fucking monsters like out there that are just like Gordon Ryan's on it. Andre Galvao hasn't said it, but he fucking just Google a picture of Andre Galvao.
Oh, I'm sorry, just to
you'll get that. Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu. Look at Yoel Romero. That man took some shit at some point.
I don't know. I actually think he's not. I think he's not. I don't
know, man.
I like to.
I'm not saying he did the. What was his name? Oh shit.
TJ Dillashaw.
No, not TJ. Got knocked out by Ngannou with the uppercut. What was his name?
Oh, Alistair Overeem.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying he was doing what Overeem was doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think there might have been something there.
All these people judging. You loved it when Overeem was Ubereem. You fucking loved it. And the TRT Vitor, all of you guys clapped and cheered when he was knocking everybody out. Everybody loved it.
I had nothing against it. My only thing was in the UFC, if you're on the juice outside of normal, yes, technically it's cheating. Fine. Yeah. I had no problem with Gear Dareem. with the bull, like.
What I'm trying to say is like there's a misconception out there that I think it's just going to turn into hope. I wish, like, back to the Jiu-Jitsu example I was going to give. Jiu-Jitsu is rife with like PEDs, and you'll be surprised who's on it, and they look like regular ass human beings because one, they don't train hard enough. Two, anabolics, the receptors, how the body receives anabolics. Genetically is so fucking poor, you can't even do it. I would say that, well, it's only been like I said, just shy of a month, and I've already seen like the gains, like they've been quite significant. Because I think I'm a hyper responder.
Well, one, you could be a hyper responder, but two, you're recovering from injury, and three, your training had been decreased because of your low levels of T in the first place, right? So, did testosterone help? A little bit. Being able to train more. Probably
training more than anything itself.
Low T, recovering from your injury. So those 4 pounds of muscles that you gained, 4 or 5 pounds that you gained, you probably should have already had.
Prior to like getting injured and all that stuff. Yeah.
You probably should have had that in the first place. My opinion, no medical opinion here,
Yeah.
but my opinion, you should have had that. What did
I felt like I just came back faster than I would have, and also like it just reduced my. I went back 10 years, man. Now I'm 28 again, kind of thing. And with more injuries, but I'm 28. Then the way I can build muscle now is like how I feel like when I was at the peak of my natural strength. And that's what I'm basically chasing. I'm not trying to put my health so much at risk that I'm trying to look like fucking Chris Bumstead here. Like, I'm not trying to. I would love to look like him. Don't get me wrong, but like I'm not going to look like him ever, regardless.
You have to start with a genetic base of Chris Bumstead to look like Chris Bumstead.
Yeah, I need to choose different mom and a different mom and dad.
Yeah,
and
if you don't look like Brad Pitt. Or have his genetic base, you can do all the CrossFit you want. You're not going to look like him in Fight Club. That's just not going to happen. So
yeah,
testosterone is not going to help you in that fashion.
Yeah. I think, like I said, it's mainly for recovery. To do more of what you love, to do more of what will build muscle. Basically, you're kind of like Wolverine, like in that sense. Like you're just trying to, people who watch anime, like the Saiyans, they get their ass kicks, they heal when they come back stronger because they heal over and over again. It's like kind of like that, except that's the real power of testosterone. It heals you, but you have to put in work. You don't put in the work, you're never gonna reap the benefits of it. Then if you eat like shit, it's just you're gonna regret it. I would say that if you eat like shit, I don't know how much testosterone will affect you, and like if it will give you more health complications. But the way I look at it, I just eat healthier. Now that I'm on it, I eat healthier than ever, and because I'm trying to, with my blood work, it's been good.
I'll still get a McDouble because the damn thing is delicious.
In general.
But in general, I eat a little bit more fruit now in the morning if I have it. Like eat a little bit more healthy, but.
Yeah.
But again, that I think comes back to the brain fog, where like if your brain is just foggy like that, what do you want? You want fats and sweets because it makes you gives you that dopamine hit. So like again, none of this is a miracle. It's not a miracle drug or anything. You still got to put in the work. But what it does is it helps you along the path enough to keep going.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, I think that's where we might need to call it a day for this one.
Yeah.
And we'll have a couple other follow-up episodes.
Yeah. We'll update you guys further on. At least I will, because I've only been on it for a month, and it's been extremely positive. So.
Yeah. Fun fact: if you to just round us out here, if you have sexual dysfunction, check your T levels, because you might not need Viagra. You just might need a regular dose of test.
Or you could microdose Cialis every day at 5 milligrams. I'm not doing that, but I might.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just get hard. Stay hard.
Yeah. All the time.
All the time. All right. On that note, thank you for listening to another episode of the Oldhammer Podcast. Like, subscribe, comment below if you're on TRT or if you're not. Shout out, give us the benefits. If you think it's cheating, let us know why, and we will respond on why it isn't. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Appreciate you.